Well, that's true. I mean, I take your point that you have to look at corporate earnings and not so much at GDP. But within corporate earnings, which is the sector that you think will, outshine or lead the recovery?
So I think financials should be leading the recovery, and the early stage of that will be lower credit costs.
Okay.
And credit costs has been obviously a big theme for the last couple of years when it comes to the financials. We've also got the sort of interesting dynamic of trying to work out what is going to be the normal net interest margin with the demonetization effect and having more money in the formal system. But to really get the profit growing, we obviously need to get loan growth above 5%. And I think that's something we're going to really need to focus on here. Then if we look at the consumer space, also there's optimism around that. But again, we've got some of the dynamics of demonetization that perhaps will generate a lot of loan growth, a lot of growth, because you're comparing it to a sort of easy final quarter. Building materials is also another area. Now, India's probably been through, let's say, a 5 to 6 year downturn in the real estate industry. So when we look at pre-sales, they've been weak. And in some markets, I was looking at the nationwide statistic, it's something like down 40% from the 2010 peak. Yes. So a turnaround in the real estate industry and how that then helps a consolidating building materials industry also looks very interesting. So these would be the types of sort of cyclical areas to look at.
Well, we will, just a word to our viewers, we will be speaking with one of the biggies of the real estate space. DLF will be joining us to decode whether there is a turnaround in that sector. As well, we'll be joined by the CFO of Axis Bank to tell us what's happening in the banking space. But since financials is such a big